Hello. In this Battlefield 3 tutorial series, I'm going to try to explain how to play better for the win and enjoy the game. Okay, let's start with general subjects. There are things common in all shooter games, and there are things that separate one shooter than another. If you are new to first-person shooter games, well, you have to start from the very basics. Battlefield 3 is a more tactical and team play based shooter than that of faster paced run and gun type shooter games. What is skill? You are going to hear this word a lot, even for trolling or humiliation. Actually, skill is a combination of little talent and lots of experience like all things in life. We all start with small steps and then we improve them. It's quite natural and patience is required. Are you seeing players always doing very good or having high scores where you can't? Or are you getting slaughtered most of the time no matter how much you try? Well, in most cases it's not because something special about those players and because you lack something. It's just knowing what to do and what not, which is our main subject. And experience. Before starting, let me mention something on this video as well. I don't like the words killing an enemy, so I'm going to use take down an opponent instead. I wish someday all wars and killings end. This is just a friendly competition, game for fun. Human beings should not be enemies at all. First things first, general principles. Good part of every activity, or perhaps what makes an activity good, is friends. So make friends. This is the first rule. Who knows, maybe then you can form a clan, play competitive matches which are a lot of fun and a lot different than public matches. Be kind. Don't insult people out of rage or whatever the reason is. If you are insulted, just ignore them. Don't let others pull you down to the dark side. Be a nice person in the battlefield like you are in real life. For every online multiplayer game there is an important thing. Frames per second, shortly FPS, which is highly related to the horsepower of your computer. You may not notice the difference in single player campaigns, but in multiplayer it has to be at least 50 or 60 frames per second. You can check your FPS count with several programs. I recommend MSI Afterburner, a free and good program for taking screenshots, recording your gameplays, tweaking your GPU, etc. Stay away from tweaking your GPU if you don't have any knowledge about it. If you like, you can change some settings. Change some keys if you're not comfortable with the default keyboard settings and adjust mouse sensitivity. Try different sensitivities until you find the one that you are comfortable with. There is no objective standard for this. Some players prefer lower mouse sensitivities, which cost a lot of arm movement, but in return the aim is not affected with the slightest movement of the mouse. Some prefer higher mouse sensitivities to quickly react in intense combat situations. Very generally speaking, the right mouse sensitivity is the one with which you don't miss your targets while shooting. Accuracy and taking down opponents as quickly as possible is important. It's up to you actually. Understanding the battle scene. If you are a beginner, I recommend you to start with playing team deathmatch in a rather less crowded server to see how game mechanics and battle works. Once you start getting used to things, you can try other game modes. Personally, I prefer 64-player large servers and almost never play on servers with less players. First, learn the maps you are playing. Paths, corners, edges, spots, places usually used by players, spawn points, etc. For that, you can go to an empty server and check out the map design, or you can start playing directly. Eventually you are going to learn the maps. Okay, we said that, Battlefield 3 was a more tactical and team play based shooter than that of faster paced run and gun type games. It's because Battlefield 3 is more of a battle simulation than other games. Let's have a look. There are two armies positioned against each other, trying to beat one another in whatever game type is played. To win the game, every piece of the army must act in harmony within the whole. For that, you have to always be aware of what's going on in the battlefield, as if you are the one commanding the army as a general and take action against the maneuvers of the opponent team. The thing I'm talking about here is not specifically situational awareness, which is another topic, but it's looking at the big picture and playing towards a general plan. This is the battlefield, two teams against each other. The strongholds of teams where you can always find players holding because of cover and attacking opportunities. The paths to flank and break these strong points. The edges of the maps. Roughly the general battle setup. Now if you try to dive in and cut the opponent lines through these strong points before they are thin enough, you will be slaughtered by a rifle already pointed, or by taking fire from multiple directions. This is the worst way of pushing while exposing yourself. Instead, you have to slice and push the line slowly, or flank the point properly if there is opportunity. You cannot cut opponent forces at once. Slice them. In order to be highly efficient as an individual, you can hold or cover your strongholds and don't let the opponent team break your lines and flank your teammates. Or you can attack or flank the opponent's strongholds, or you can cut their pathways. If you are losing your tactical position, you can drop to certain places to eliminate and distract a portion of the opponent team in order to help your team to gain the position back again. In short, always have an image of the big picture of battle scene in mind. Know where your team and an opponent team positioned. Where are your and opponent team's fortified positions? And act accordingly with your team. Don't rush while playing. Especially do not rush into opponent forces. Sometimes even one player can change the course of battle if played right. Have fun!